welcome to our interactive session about Varma therapy. I hope everyone is feeling amazing today. I am Girija Jayapal, founder of Back to Wellness organization. Few years ago, I had this wonderful opportunity to learn about some amazing healing techniques and decided to start this organization to bring awareness about healing and help others to be their best. We will be bringing doctors and healers from India and organize in person retreats and workshops when things are back to normal. I am honored to introduce my teacher, mentor, and good friend, Healer Vishwanath. Vishwa started practicing Kundalini Yoga at the age of 16 and has learned more than 20 healing techniques, including Varma and touch healing. Close to a decade ago, when he was a vice president leading a successful IT company, Vishwa decided to quit his job and dedicate his life to healing and helping others. Ever since, he has been treating people in India and Sri Lanka and has conducted workshops in various healing techniques. As a spiritual practitioner and Kriya Yogi, he is assisting so many people in healing and spiritual progression. This webinar is divided into two sessions. In the first session, Vishwa will talk about what is Varma, its origin, and healing methods, and what disease can be cured in Varma. Then, in the second session, he will answer all your questions. Thanks to everyone who submitted the questions. Please continue to share them in the chat window. We will try to answer the most common questions. You can always reach out to us after the webinar for further clarifications. Thanks again for all of you for joining the webinar today. I like to invite Healer Vishwanath to start his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Girija. A warm greetings to everybody. This is like a very fascinating science where I'd like to give an analogy here. You have a number of cuisines present, like Chinese cuisine, Indian cuisine, French cuisine, English cuisine, and so many like that. Now, when one is given an opportunity to select any of those or one or more, literally a person cannot do because of the cuisines by themselves are very large. So what we can do, the very best thing is take a spoonful and have a taste of it. How it is, how does it look like, how does it taste like, how does it feel? So like that, let me try to give you a small introduction to Varma therapy. A little bit spoonful in every topic possible in Varma, so that you can get a full idea. In today's world, there is a huge misconception about Varma, saying that Varma is just about stimulation. You have a Varma point over here, you stimulate the point, and that is all. But there are so many things that are there at the background and that has not been covered, and which have been covered by my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, about whom I will explain towards the end of this seminar, because you should know the amount of work that has been put into this divine science for the propagation and for the knowledge to be assimilated better. Okay. Now, defining Varma therapy in very simple terms. Now, you take a sponge, you put it into water. Now, the water is inside the sponge and surrounding the sponge. So, similar to that, surrounding your physical body and interpenetrating your physical body, there is an energy field. Now, modern techniques like Kirlian photography and many other techniques have come in to prove that there exists something called as an aura or an energy field. So this can be compared to the battery of your life. Now, inside your body, there is blood circulation happening inside the veins and arteries. So very similar to that, in the energy field which surrounds and interpenetrates your body, there are micro energy channels called as nadis. In Sanskrit, in Tamil, they call it as nadis. So through those channels, the energy circulation happens. Now, when the energy circulation is harmonious throughout, the person is in a great state of mind, spirit, and body. When there is an impediment to this flow, then the person lands up into a disease condition, or what you call as a pathological condition, or illness, or ailments, whatever. So, Varma therapy is nothing but bringing back or reinstating the harmony of the energy flow that is being happening so far with the stimulation or manipulation of Varma points. It's as simple as that. Now, what can Varma points be defined as? Now, Varma points may be compared to somewhat similar to acupressure points, though they are very much higher in the sense. See, please don't think that I'm talking less of acupressure, but Varma points have a lot more to do. So that is why we are saying like that. So these points, what happens is these are concentrated points of energy where the energy is present in a denser form. So energy is present in the correct ratio. Like there is a mixture of elements. There are basic 5 elements like earth, water, fire, air, and space. No, the energy that is present in a particular Varma point, now there are 400 plus Varma points, roughly saying. Now, in a particular Varma point, what is the ratio of elements that are present? The air, space, water, earth. In what combination it is ought to be present? Is it present in that ratio? Or it is supposed to be present at a particular density? Is it present at that particular density? All those factors decide whether the flow of energy is going to be harmonious or not. That is there. So you use Varma points, various specialized manipulation techniques in order to bring about a harmony to the energy flow that has been impeded. That is all quite simple, right? I've said it quite simple, but it's a huge task for identifying, diagnosing the disease, like where exactly the energy block is or which Varma point has to be treated. As I told you, like visibly there are 400 Varma points visibly. Invisibly inside the body, they say that there are thousands of Varma points. Many of them can be triggered only through the thought process by taking a consciousness somewhere inside the body, inside a particular part, and then activating them. Like, for instance, you want to send a distance healing to somebody. Now, you activate certain internal points, and through those points, you communicate the energy transfer to that person who is receiving the healing from you. That is it. So these 400 energy points, roughly speaking, now 400 energy points, what they do is they have their own method of, each Varma has its own method of operation, has its own healing benefits. Like, for example, now there is a Varma point over here at the web of this the thumb and your index finger. So when you stimulate that, that is used to relieve ailments like epileptical fits, convulsions, and so many other problems. You can revive a person from consciousness and all these things. So similar to that, every Varma point has its own stimulation methods. This is just for information. There are about 53 distinct stimulation methods available in general to operate Varmas. But it doesn't mean that all those 53 methods can be applied on any single Varma point. It is not like that. So a Varma point has a method of operation, like you should do a clockwise rotation, you should do a counterclockwise rotation, you should do intermittent pressure, you should do a slip stroking. So there are specific method of operation. There is a unit of pressure to be exerted. Like, are you doing a feather touch operation, or are you giving a little more pressure or even more pressure? Then according to the pressure that is exerted to a Varma point, it acts on a different stage of the energy layers that is there. Then to what duration is it being done? If we ask you to do a particular thing for 3 minutes, if you stop at 3 minutes, it is good. If they ask you to do for 10 seconds, then you perform it for 10 seconds and you stop. That's it. So that is a very clear manual written by Dr. Kannan Rajaram, my teacher. So which very clearly says what pressure to stimulate, what should be done, what should not be done. Like, for instance, certain Varmas, you can do a clockwise rotation. You can do. But for certain other things, you're not supposed to do a clockwise rotation because it may cause some adverse reaction. You're not supposed, see, we are trying to harmonize the energy over here. So if we play according to the books, like what the ancient scriptures mentioned, then automatically, your problems become less and you become more healthy. That is there. So this is the function of a Varma point, and manipulating the Varma points correctly to bring about a harmony of the energy flow is Varma therapy. That is all, putting it in simple words. Okay. Now, before going into where this originated and the other small details in a smaller degree, there is a small story which is written. See, my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, has taken all the references from authentic ancient palm leaf scriptures. Like 3,000 plus bundles are there, and he has gone through a lot of scriptures. He has decoded them. They are in very ancient language, so it has been decoded in Tamil. They've been decoded and written in a form that is understandable by the present generation of people. We can't go and understand very ancient Tamil. That's a very difficult thing. So he has written books based on ancient palm leaf scriptures. So in the ancient palm leaf scriptures, this story is mentioned as a point of origin for the Varma therapy itself. Now, you might have heard of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, you might have seen. It's a common deity in Hinduism. Now, Shiva with his consort Parvati travels in the skies one day, and when they see below, when they see the earth, a hunter falls down accidentally from a very tall tree and just he's like dead. Like there is no activity, he's just dead, his eyes closed and like no movement at all. Now, mothers are usually very compassionate. So, Goddess Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, is very compassionate. She says, he's my son too, so can you go heal him? So, Lord Shiva comes down, looks at the hunter. He's like literally frozen, no activity at all. Lord Shiva takes a golden staff, which he has in his hands, and taps the hunter's body at a particular location, one single tap. Instantly, the hunter revives and he carries on with his work. He doesn't realize what has happened. He didn't realize that he has swooned, he has become unconscious, and some therapy has been applied to him. Now, looking at this, Goddess Parvati asked Shiva in separate, no, what is this? That this is called as Varma therapy. So Lord Shiva becomes the first Varmani. He's the first Varma teacher or Varma therapist in the whole of the history of Varma. So from there, it has been handed down by lineage to so many great enlightened beings, from Shiva, Lord Shiva to Goddess Parvati, from Parvati to her son Lord Kartikeya, and from Kartikeya to the sage Agastya. So it's a big long this thing. So eventually, we are in a condition that we are able to read these very simplified texts and authentic information given to us from ancient palm leaf scriptures. That is there. Now, I'd like to mention something here. Now, we say we have been using this term vital force, life energy, and all these things. Now, this has a specific term in Varma, science, and this is called as Vachi. Vaachi, Vachi. So, Vachi is the finest energy particle that is available, and that is a penultimate thing. It cannot be split further. That is what they say as Vachi. Now, some people claim that prana and vachi are one and the same. It is not true. See, vachi is the most finest form of energy. That's of the primordial life force. So they say in the Varma scriptures that wherever vachi goes and hits, their prana is created. That is what they say. So prana is a more evolved form of vachi. So that is why. So from this term vachi, the Chinese term the coin chi, energy, the Chinese call it as chi or ki. So this is the original term, the term from which this has originated. And we said Lord Shiva. Now you repeat this word again and again, vachi. See, it's a vachi, 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 it becomes shiva, shiva, shiva. So that is how the energy is finally attributed to God and God's own work. That is there. Okay. Now, to give you a very small history, history is boring, I know, but anyway, it is nice to know where this beautiful therapy originated. Now, if you see the title of this seminar, the Zoom meeting, it is that the ancient Indian system of medicine. Actually, the right term would be the most ancient system of medicine in the whole world. This is the first therapy that originated on Earth, at least 5,000 years back. Now, beneath India, now what we can see is below India, there is just one island, Sri Lanka. Now, before, like saying thousands of years back, there was a continent that was there, which is not there right now. It is called as a Lemurian continent. Lemurian continent, in the sense, it's called as Kumarikandam in Tamil. In Tamil, it is called as Kumarikandam. In English, it is called as Lemurian continent. So this Lemurian continent was a place where people existed as kings. They lived as kings. When the rest of the world wasn't civilized this much, people were living in full-blown civilization and as kings, and they were wearing ornaments and they were in a full cultured way. So nice. That is there. So as you can see in this picture, it extends from the tip of India and to the right side of India till Australia, till the left side till Madagascar. It was such a huge continent. And slowly, what happened because of the movement of the tectonic plates underneath the Earth, the Indian Ocean began to slowly swallow the Lemurian continent. So what happens as the continent begins to recede, people begin to move towards the north. So eventually, when all of the Lemurian continent, with the exception to Sri Lanka, went down, submerged into the Indian Ocean, just one island remained, that is Sri Lanka. And now the area that remains of the ancient Lemurian continent is Kanyakumari. You can say Kanyakumari is that southern tip of India. Kanyakumari is a place where you can get the most authentic palm leaf scriptures and any other texts that are related to Varma and so many other intricate sciences that is there. Because slowly when the Lemurian continent began to submerge inside the Indian Ocean, people began moving upwards to the north, and it finally settled down in Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is still there. That is where Dr. Kannan Rajaram is from. That is where he learned Varma therapy. That is where he developed this great science into simplified form. I'll come to his part later. This is just a small brief introduction to Varma therapy, how it originated. I'd like to mention here, like, see, a surgical knife, it can be used to perform a surgical procedure. Or the other hand, when it is given in the wrong hands, it can be used to perform a murder. You can use it to kill somebody. So similar to that, Varma therapy can be used to cure a variety of ailments. You can do a lot of magic miracles with Varma therapy. Or you can misoperate the Varma points and you can do some harm to the person, so that, you can bring about a bad effect. But that is not the desired thing. See, there is always this word karma mentioned in almost every religion on earth. See, when you do something knowingly or unknowingly wrong, then automatically you inhibit karma. And its unpleasant side effects are always bad, and it comes back to you many, many times more. So when we teach you about Varma points in the class, we get a sworn oath from you that you will never misuse Varma therapy, that you will not use it to your own ulterior motives or anything like that. So we get a sworn oath from you, then we teach you the Varma points, and we tell you what happens when you treat a Varma point, how you treat a Varma point, what are the various manipulation methods and pressure techniques, and all the other nitty-gritties that are associated with it. That is there. Okay. Now the second part which I told you is this has also been used as a defense art, like a defense martial art. Ancient kings, many of them were secretly very proficient in this divine art. So these things they used to stun their enemies, to defend themselves from animals, and they used it in war, to attack their enemies in an effective way, so that the enemy gets incapacitated and they can win the war and all these things like that. So that was the thing that has happened. So we here at Center for Varma Medicine and Research, we offer you the therapeutic aspects of Varma. How to use a Varma point to treat a particular ailment or ailments, or how to diagnose it, how to identify where the block is, and how to go about by manipulating the Varma points. As simple as that. Okay. Now, to emphasize the importance of Varma point, see, actually in ancient times, you see, like thousands of years back, when a student wanted to pursue Varma therapy, he has to get the permission of his parents and then go to the Varma teacher. He has to fall down to his feet and then request that, please teach me Varma. This teacher will teach him everything else other than Varma and subject him to really hard labor. Literally, they'll squeeze him out to check his endurance. They'll do like this for 12 long years. And after these 12 years, they'll examine the student whether he or she still has the same flame or fieriness or passion to learn this divine science. And then they initiate him into this science of Varma therapy. Now, those days are gone. We don't have 12 minutes right now for our own. So where to go for 12 long years? So that's impossible. So these days, what we do is, my teacher, that's what he does. He gets a sworn oath from you saying that you will misuse this therapy and use the therapy for the best of the, and then we offer this therapy. All we ask is, come into this therapy and then get yourself acquainted, so that, things can go very smooth. Now, you might want to question, why do I need Varma therapy? There are so many therapies on earth. It's true. Every therapy has its own pros and cons. True. Acupressure is good. Reiki is good. Touch therapy is good. So there are various magnetotherapy is good. I've applied quite a many therapies in my healing career of more than 15, 16 years. And they have been successfully treated for the concerned patient, for the concerned client. That is there. But why should you learn Varma is a very simple question which you should ask yourself, and which I would be pleased to give you an answer. See, you can help yourself whenever you are in a need. For instance, when you are in a headache, head is really badly aching, and even after a painkiller, it doesn't subside. You can stimulate very simple Varma points, like Varma points are here, 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 around your head area, in a few other areas. No, there is a recipe, specific recipe for every ailment. If you have stiff neck and shoulders, you have a particular recipe. You manipulate this Varma points in this order and in this fashion. So that is the recipe actually. So you can help yourself and your friends without any cost. It doesn't cost you anything. So a simple thing, like somebody is suffering from a very bad stomach ache, or there is a periods problem for a lady, or there is a premenstrual menstrual syndrome for a woman, or something for a man, like ulcers or migraines or whatever it is, any sort of problems. You can go help the people. You can help yourself. You can help the others too. That is one possibility. You can definitely be a help to people in your family. See, please, here I wish to quote like a disclaimer that this is not a substitute for any valid medical therapy. See, you can take medicines of whatever origin you like. If you want to take Siddha medicine, Siddha system of medicine, or from Ayurveda, or from allopathy or homeopathy, whatever you want to do, you can take your required medicines. Along with that, adjuvantly, if you are able to do Varma therapy, along with the medicines of Varma that are present in Varma therapy itself, then the healing will be accelerated, it will be spearheaded, it will be much better. That's what I wish to say. So this will be definitely useful to you as well as to your family members. Definitely reducing the pain. When you reduce the pain for somebody, the amount of happiness you see in their faces, no amount of money or wealth can give you that. The amount of satisfaction you get out of helping somebody, it really matters. That is it. Now, you don't need any specialized equipments. No, I need to invest $1,000 to buy a very sophisticated equipment. No, just your fingers, your hand, your palm, your fist, everything is an instrument that is used to manipulate the Varma points. So there is no extra additional instruments or any things required to manipulate the Varma points. That is it. Now, during emergencies, these will be very helpful. Now, you need to be proficient in knowing what to do and at what time. That is always there. So when you have mastered Varma therapy in a proper way, when you are capable of doing things, somebody has fallen unconscious, you can revive them out of consciousness. Varma speaks in extensive detail about traumatology. Traumatology is nothing but, see, when you manipulate a Varma point the right way, then it gives you a therapeutic benefits. When you go hit a Varma point, or when a Varma point is accidentally injured, for instance, when I go through a door, I get myself hit somewhere, and if it happens to be a Varma point, then it leads up into a series of maladies, series of problems. So when there is a trauma to a Varma point, you can apply relieving methods, you can provide internal medicines. There are external appliances, like you can apply herbal pastes or oils or concoctions to be taken inside or applied externally. So Varma talks about these in very graphic detail. No other therapy has extensive detail on what should you do when a Varma happens. That is always there. It's a beautiful thing. So when you see somebody in trauma, like somebody is having a very serious fits and convulsions, you can go press certain points and you can revive them. You can do certain methods called as relieving methods, because they relieve you from your present condition. Somebody is unconscious, somebody has fainted, somebody is has gone into a delirious status. You can bring them back quickly. So when you learn these things, they come in really handy. So it doesn't mean that you can stop at that. You actually call for an emergency, and then you, at the same time, you perform them in the right way that you have learned and taught to you by the teacher. That is there. Now, this is when you go into spirituality, they usually say this. At a stipulated day, at a stipulated time, at a stipulated second and minute, you die. No matter whether you do a therapy, or whether you don't do a therapy, whether you attend to somebody medically or don't attend to the person medically, the person will die, because that is God's will. Death is something which we cannot avoid and we cannot postpone at any. See, the Mahasiddhas, the enlightened ones, they were conquering death in a different way. They were ascended masters, and they were they defied death and decay. That was there. But we are still mortals, and we have still our limitations and everything. So then, if you say that it is not used to prolong life, then why is a therapy given? therapy, no matter whether it is acupuncture or Varma or Siddha or Ayurveda or whatever is given, in order to give a quality to the person. Whether the person is going to live for a month or for 10 years or 55 years, it doesn't matter. The person needs to live like a king and die like a king, not live like a beggar and die like a beggar. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It gives you a quality of life. That is all. See, you feel that you're crippled with a particular ailment, and that crippling feeling comes inside your heart and it really pushes you down. Now, when you apply therapy, it gives you a quality, it gives you great relief from the ailments that you're suffering. It gives you a potential support to you. It definitely boosts up your spirit, your moods, and everything happens. That is always said. So you can live like a king. It gives you a quality of life. That is very important. So some people might argue, I tried Varma therapy, but after some time my so and so died. See, Varma is not for prolonging life, and no therapy on earth is capable of doing that. But yet we give Varma therapy like any other therapy, which is good out there, in order to give a quality of life that is there. Then this can used Varma can be used to nourish our spiritual selves. Nourish our spiritual selves in the sense, see, there is always a materialistic aspect and there is a spiritual aspect. So what you do now, I'll give you a small analogy. You'll be able to understand here. Now, if you give, now we spoke about law of karma sometime back. If you see a person suffering, if you give $100 to a person, definitely it will be of help to that person at that particular moment. Now, you can give this $100 to that person in one of these two thoughts. Number one, you can feel that, okay, God has given me a chance. This man really deserves to be helped. So let me give him this $100. Definitely, I thank God for making me a channel to be of help to this person, and you can give it to that. This is attitude one. The second attitude is, you can say, law of karma always says whatever goes from you comes back to you many, many times more. So if I give $100 to this person, then I will be getting back thousands of dollars as a goodwill from God. So this is the second attitude. See, both are helping, but the intent in which you are doing definitely makes a difference. That is always there. So the first aspect is the spiritual aspect, where you really help the person for what the person is. And the second one is a materialistic approach, that if I give a material, I'll get it back. So this is like a business transaction. If I give something, then I get back something in return. So when you tap into Varma, you tap into the spiritual part of yourself, like you awaken yourself. See, there are various hindrances to our spiritual practice, like you get irritated and frustrated, you get mood swings, you are not stable in your mind, your focus, your concentration, your powers of concentration, the way you focus your mind is not very good. So there are so many things which are a big hindrance to a spiritual practice. So Varma points, manipulating them will definitely let you calm yourself, will let you be a better person in every way that is possible. See, this is what they call as a mind, spirit, and body. We'll come to that conversation in a few minutes. Yet, what we are trying to say is, a person who is in complete harmony is in a state of joy. See, man is made to be in a state of eternal bliss all the time, but it doesn't happen all the way, because the circumstances are disturbing. Incidents that are happening around us are disturbing. People around us are disturbing. So there are so many things happening around us which we do not have any control over. So that is always there. So Varma lets you tap in the spirituality inside you, and you can manipulate and you can work on the chakras. Chakras, without chakras, there is no spirituality, there is no kundalini ascension. There are so many things. You can work on chakras very easily and effortlessly with the help of Varma therapy. That is it. And you can come back to the center of your being. Now, when you are in flow, when the energy flow is in complete harmony, now what happens is, now you are in a state of bliss, you are in a very joyful state, you are really great, you feel like a god, you feel like a living god, like heaven on earth. Now, when there is an impediment to this flow of energy, then you land up into a disease condition, in a pathological condition. So what you do is, we are always tilted to one side or the other due to various circumstances, either lack of motivation to change ourselves, or because we are not aware of what we are doing, we either tilt to the left side or right side or back or front or anything. Now, this is seeing in a biased way. We judge people, we are prejudiced. But when the flow is in harmony, when all the 400 Varma points are in harmony, you come back to the center of yourself. Please don't confuse this with self-centeredness. I'm not talking about self-centeredness with selfish. I'm not talking about that. Being in center means the ability to see through clearly, the ability to grasp things as they are without any bias. That is what you mean by bringing back to the center of everything. So tapping into Varma, see, knowing Varma is knowing your own self. So because Varma, the entire Varma points, the energetic architecture, they constitute the entire life, your thinking process, your evolution, your knowledge, the ability to focus and the ability to materialize certain things. Everything is done by these Varma points and by the system through the help of these Varma points. That is always there. I can talk about n number of possibilities which it can give you. I told you that it can make your life better in every aspect possible, whether it is something at work or if it is a problem between you and your partner, if there is a problem, if there is a health issue, if there is a issue in the mind, you can resolve them. If there are health issues, simple health issues, you can resolve them with the help of Varma very easily. Sometimes you may need internal medicine too. That's a different thing. But generally, when you take up Varma points, you can easily help the others who are present around you. More important of all, I'd like to mention this here. You can treat diseases that are beyond the physical body. Can I explain to you a little bit more about this? Now, there is a headache. Now, I have got a sinusitis, and because of that, I have a headache. Now, what I simply do is I take a painkiller. And I swallow the tablet. The tablet gives me relief from the headache. Now, absence of symptom does not mean absence of disease. Still, the underlying cause, which is the sinusitis, the sinus inflammation is still there, infection is still there, but your headache has vanished. So, don't you think that problem, the root cause, lingers elsewhere other than the physical body? So, this is what I meant by treating apart from the physical body. Now, the modern day science, the allopathy medicine, focuses mostly on the physical aspects of the disease. Like when you go for a psychological ailment, you try this. See, please, allopathy, I'm not talking less, but sometimes, see, for emergencies, allopathy is the best thing to do to stop your wound from bleeding, to save you from all those things. But in certain cases, there is nothing like a cure, proper cure. Like you have a psychological ailment, you go to a psychiatrist, he counsels you and he gives you a sleeping dose. Usually they are sedatives or something that alter the chemicals of your brain and try to put you. Now, mind, like many people say, many of the enlightened ones say, is not in the brain. Mind is present here. That is overall consciousness. That is always there. So when you learn to treat beyond the physical body, definitely the impact is much better. Okay. Now, when you talk, you may wonder here, what is beyond the physical body? See, if you have gone into spiritual studies, you might have known that there are 5 bodies spiritually. Let us not go into that because it will look like a spiritual webinar. So let us stick to this Varma science, where now this is the visible physical body, which you can touch, feel, and see. Now, beyond these physical body, like layers, like sheaths, you have 3 bodies in the Varma science. In the spiritual science, you have 5 bodies, but here in Varma science, you have 3 bodies. Now, one body is which you and me know very well. You can see, you can look, you can touch, you can feel, which is a physical body. This is body number 1. The second body is the causal body. The causal body is where the root cause of all the ailments lie. This is the root cause. This is the body which surrounds your physical body and surrounds and interpenetrates your physical body, where the root cause of the ailment lies. Root cause for any ailment lies over. This is body number 2. Body number 3 is your subtle body, where your mind comes into the play. Now, okay, hold this for a moment. Let me give an analogy so that you can better understand this concept. Now, let us take the concept of stiff joint, arthritis, rheumatic arthritis. The joints are stiff. My shoulder joint is very stiff. I can't move my hand. I can't lift my hand up on all those things. Now, just consider this immobility of the joints, stiff joints. Okay. Now, let us see how these 3 bodies come into play. Now, first one is the physical body. Now, your rheumatic arthritis or the stiff joint is present in the physical body. So, when you treat Varmas for this problem, for the physical body, now it addresses the stiff joint. That is the physical part condition. Now, the second one is the cause for the stiffness. Now, some of you might be knowing, especially when you Google for this, the joints are filled with something called as synovial fluids. There is a lubrication. In general, there is a gel sort of a lubrication which is present inside the every joint essentially, so that the movements can be smooth. Now, there is deficient secretion of the synovial fluid. That is the cause. Now, this is related to the causal body. Okay. Now, when you get rheumatic arthritis, you are in pain. When you are in a constant pain, what state of mind are you in? You are in a very dull state of mind. Your spirits are really down. You are not interested in anything. You literally lost hope and all those things. See, when you suffer a disease for a prolonged time, you'll know what I mean. If you see people suffering from very chronic diseases for a very prolonged period of time, definitely it will be putting them down. Now, this mental aspect, the suffering, the irritation which happens, or the mental depression that happens, is the third body, which is your subtle body. Okay, so when you treat a Varma point in a specific pressure, it treats the ailments related to the physical body. When I treat the same Varma point with a different pressure, it treats the ailments related to the subtle body. When I treat the same Varma point with a different unit of pressure, then it treats ailments that are related to the causal body. Hope you understand this analogy. So now what we are doing is, we are not simply treating the physical body alone. This is a very important thing. If you just take a swallow of medicine to mitigate the headache or fever, symptoms disappear. The disease doesn't disappear. Now we are learning to treat the mind, spirit, and the body, which are the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body. So Varma very, very effectively treats all these three bodies, and they bring all the bodies in the same speed, like 80 kilometers hour, boom, one shot. So when all your bodies are in sync, definitely you are in a good state of mind, you are in a state of bliss. When these lag behind, where these bodies are not in sync with each other, definitely you land up in a disease condition, and automatically we take remedial measures to harmonize the bodies. So Varma very effectively harmonizes all the bodies. That is something. Okay, we'd like to say something. Varma has its own system of medicine. Now, Siddha is a great science. It has its own vast system of medicine. Ayurveda is a great science. It has its own system of medicine. Yes, allopathy has its own system of medicine. Homeopathy has 3,000 plus medicines which have been tried and tested and documented, and all those things like that. Now, similar to that, Varma has its own special medicines. These don't fall under the category of Siddha or Ayurveda. These are independent, and they are very unique to the Varma. For instance, when you get hit on a particular Varma, like we mentioned some time back, that Varma is capable of treating traumatic conditions and dealing with traumas. So when a particular Varma has been traumatized, what internal medicine you have to take? What are the external appliances, like herbal paste or herbal oil, or whatever herbal concoction to be applied? What are the relieving methods you apply in order to get yourself out of the condition? So everything is completely covered. Now, saying about this, Varma internal medicines play a very vital role. Let me give you a small example, a real life example, which happened in my healing career. A woman comes to me complaining serious lung issues. So I treat her for 4 to 5 sessions in the combination of touch therapy and Varma. I combine therapies together so that each one can do its work effectively and get the patient out as quickly as possible. That is the intent here. So I start treating her, and after 4-5 sessions, she says she sees zero improvement, nothing at all. So then I stop the treatment. I ask the client to come sit on a sofa and then talk to me. Tell me, what did you do in your young age? Did you fall down? Did you meet with an accident? And all these things. Now I asked her, somewhere there is a Varma point at the sides of your ribs. Right now we can't tell you what is the exact location of the point, but the Varma point is at the sides of the ribs. I located that point and I asked that lady, did you get hit in this point somewhere, accidentally or knowingly? And she said she met with an accident a few years back, like 4-5 years back, and she got hit in that place. And then she remembers that ever since, after 2-3 years, then this problem she's having. Now, what we did is we gave her internal medicine in order to negate the traumatic effects on that Varma, because she has got hit in that Varma. So we gave internal medicines, then we applied oils which are specific to that particular Varma in question. Then we applied the relieving methods, and she is now, what do you say, you can say about 85% there is a relief to that client. So she is not coughing constantly. She's not having chest colds constantly. She's very good. She's able to go to hill stations and enjoy life with her children and grandchildren. That is always there. So to say that Varma has special set of medicines which you can use to treat, that is it. Let me give you a very special nature of the specialty of the medicines that are present. Consider this. Now, you have two issues. Let us assume one is insomnia. I'm not able to sleep. Second is sinusitis. Now, now these two are opposite in nature. You will understand in a few minutes why I'm saying they're opposite in nature. Now, sinusitis, when the head cools down, you get more of sinus inflammation, you get allergic to it, you develop a sort of infection and conditions worsen. But when your head cools down, you'll be able to sleep better. See, they always say you have a cool head and you can go to sleep faster. This is something. But when your head is little bit warm, okay, your sinus infection reduces. But at the same time, when your head is hot, you will not be able to fall asleep. Do you know Varma alone? I don't know about Siddha and Ayurveda, and I'm sure this is one of the unique features of this Varma medicine. There is a special medication. There is an oil concocted, prepared specially by my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. This cools down the head as well as cures the sinusitis. Can you believe this? One oil doing two opposite jobs. It is like 180 degrees apart. Cooling the head does not affect the sinusitis. It doesn't do anything. At the same time, it slightly raises the temperature of the sinal cavities so that the infection and inflammation can be reduced and your head can cool down. See, two opposite jobs being done by one single medication. You can apply it to your head, soak for 1 hour, and then take bath. This is a wonderful medicine that is present. So, like this, he has written an entire book, like 600 odd pages. It's going to be like 1,000 odd pages after the revision, entirely on Varma. All these are going to get go out for sale in a short time. We have translated it. By the way, I think Girija would have told you, I am the official translator for all the books that are written by my teacher. Other than my teacher, I am the only person who has gone through the entire text word by word, letter by letter. Even if as a student, you might skip a few pages or skip a few paragraphs. I don't have the choice. I have to go through every single word to understand what is given and then digest the concept and then put it into English so that people can easily understand. That is always there. Okay. Now, so this is the speciality of Varma medicines. Varma has its own set of medicines. Now, my teacher has very age-old remedies that have been handed over to him by family lineage. So, you have a bad cervical spondylitis, a 6 days medicine can bring about, especially when it is in the initial stages. It can 6 days medicine with stringent diet restrictions. It can give you good relief. That is there. You have severe osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, let us say osteoarthritis. Your knees have to be chopped off, and prosthetic knee has to be installed. Now, with a 6 day medicine, you can get relieved of this problem. At least there will be a substantial relief. Those age-old medicines from ancient palm leaf scriptures are available on consultation from my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. That is it. So here I wish to emphasize that Varma has its own very special set of medicines that are not present in any other, similar to any other of the therapies that are available, or at least rare. Okay. Now, I think I've given you a gist of whatever is there in Varma. We are open to questions now. We'll put a brief pause over here. Before I put a brief pause, I would like to say something about my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. Okay, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, I told you in the very beginning of this session, in the origins of Varma therapy, this Lemurian continent actually receded, and slowly it ended up into the place called as what is called as Kanyakumari in today's India. Now, this is the southern tip of India. Dr. Kannan Rajaram is born and brought up there. He had a lot of palm leaf scriptures that are given to him by his ancestors, which were collected by his ancestors, and he studied them, he preserved them. He wrote very easy to read books in every arena that is possible. Like literally, you name it and it is there. You want to treat fractures and dislocations? Yes, Varma can do. He has written books on that. Do you want to know how to relieve a person from fainting? Yes, Varma does. He has written books on that. Do you want to know what happens when there is a trauma, and particularly when there is a harsh blow to some particular point? What to do? What are the relieving methods and everything? So almost everything is being covered by Dr. Kannan Rajaram. about the 12 particular channels. Nobody else has written a book. See, please, when I'm saying about my teacher, let it not give you an impression that I'm obsessed with my teacher. No, I'm not. See, as a translator, I've gone through every single work which he has done, and I've translated them into English from Tamil language. So I know what this person has done, what effort, what amount of effort this person has put forward in order to make these books quite possible. That is always there. So what we do is, these books will be soon available in English. They are like, I've finished some 6-7 books in a translation. So this is always there. Okay, now, so this is about a small introduction about Dr. Kannan Rajaram. So before we jump into the question and answer session, I'd like to say some thanks first to Lord God. Without His grace, His divine grace and guidance and His permission, I would not have delved into this great science. See, I've been the assistant vice president of a software company. I've been a real geek in my field. I've been a real expert in my field. But somehow this divine science, spirituality, and Varmam and touch therapy, they all pulled me into this divine science. So I'm very grateful to the Mahasiddhas, the enlightened beings, and God first. Next, I'm very thankful to Dr. Kannan Rajaram, my teacher, my guru, who has patiently mentored me into this level of talking, because see, he has entrusted me to talk about Varma because he is very sure he has seen the translations and what I've done, and all the works speak for myself. So he has given me permission to talk about Varma. So I'm very grateful to him. Without his presence, I would not be talking to you today. And last but not the least, thank you, Girija, for giving us this wonderful chance so that we can reach out to a multitude of audience who are sitting around in the world. This is a great opportunity. I really appreciate your big effort in doing this, Girija. So we can switch on to question answers.
Thanks, Vishwa. Thanks for a really nice talk. Let me start sharing the questions from the audience.
Sure.
Okay. Does Varma has some massage or stroking techniques as a treatment?
Yes, Varma very extensively has massage stroking techniques. Say, for instance, uh, even with chakras, you want to energize a chakra, there is a specific way of stroking. You take you move your hands through this Varma, this Varma, this Varma. You go a particular way. That is called as a stroking methods. Now you can energize a chakra. If you want to de-energize a chakra, like decongesting or destagnating, there is a procedure. So there are more than 100 different type of stroking techniques. These are called as stroking techniques. In Tamil, they're called as tadaval, like so stroking techniques. So this is not a massage. Massage is simply rubbing of things. So stroking is you move your hand through a particular pathway, so that you can bring about a healing more faster. So this is especially useful when there is a trauma, and when there is an emergency case, you can do a lot of stroking methods. It is available. Yeah, quite there.
Okay. Thanks, Vishwa. Pulse diagnosis. How effective it is in Varma therapy to identify disease using pulse diagnosis?
I hope basically all of the audiences know what is pulse diagnosis. Now, normally when you go to a doctor, they check your pulse and they tell you 70 beats per minute, 80 beats per minute, or 90 beats per minute, or 110 beats per minute. This is not the pulse per second. I'm talking about pulse diagnosis. Varma offers a very huge and very wide range of ways in which you can identify where the energy block is. Now you can identify based on what humor you are in. You might have heard of this. See, this is like you can compare it to what you call mind, digestion, and body. So this is like mind, spirit, and body. Now, whether you are diagnosing on the basis of vata, pitta, or kapha, or are you diagnosing on the basis of 5 elements? Do you know Varma has a unique method of checking your pulses and telling you what are the 5 elements in your body out of balance or in set balance? Varma gives you special techniques to find out whether the person is having devil spirits inside. Sorry, I'm not talking superstitions. This is very real. See, it is not as shown in the films like Exorcist, where you puke, green puke, and all those things like that. When you are affected by devil spirits, your thinking won't be proper. That's all. So devil spirits is unwholesome energy sitting in your Varma points and blocking you from clearly seeing what it is. So that is why. See, have you seen a lunatic? He'll be looking at somewhere and he'll be talking to an imaginary person. So those are like bad spirits or bad energies. So you can find out through pulse diagnosis whether the person is infected with the devil spirit or the person is in a good condition, harmonious condition. You can, and this is the peak of everything. Now there are various scanners available for chakras. Using just your fingers to check the pulses, you can say which chakra is in balance, which chakra is not in balance. Can you believe this? So these techniques are very widely available in Varma. You can look at the face, you can look at the skin, you can do a number of diagnoses, you can find out where the energy is exactly blocked. You can do an effective treatment. Yes, quite possible.
Okay. What happens when we go to a Varma healer for treatment?
Beautiful. So when you go to a Varma healer, usually the person asks your condition, like what is your condition, what are you suffering from, how long has it been, what are the other ailments you have been suffering for, did you face with any trauma, like you got hit, you got a fracture or anything like that, something, all those things. See, you might be wondering, or some of you might be wondering, why is this guy talking very specifically about trauma? There are certain traumas that happen and immediately don't produce an impact. After 18 years, I know Varma points, I cannot tell you now openly. There are certain Varma points after impact. After 18 years, it will begin to produce its effect. There are certain Varma points which will show its effect after 6 months, after 8 months. So the Varma therapist will diagnose and identify what exactly is the underlying reason. Then he decides, the Varma therapist decides whether some stroking method is required or some relieving methods are required or some internal methods or internal medicines are required. Then Varma stimulation points is required. Then he can, if the Varma therapist is a qualified physician, like a Siddha physician or an Ayurvedic physician, he can very well prescribe internal medicines also, along with the therapies that are applied to it. And there it goes. So the client has to regularly follow up with the therapist in order to get the ailment reduced, so to say.
Okay. Does Varma have any side effects?
Yeah, see, okay, you take, what is it? What analogy can I give you? See, you take a small piece of a green chili, hot pepper. If you take one small bite, it doesn't hurt you much. But if you chew some 10, 15 green peppers, it will inevitably affect you. Now, assuming that here, let us assume there is a Varma point over here. Now, let us say this Varma point is to be stimulated in a clockwise rotation with this amount of pressure, let us say quarter unit of pressure. If you don't exceed, and for 10 seconds or 15 seconds, if you don't exceed any of these factors, zero side effects. I can guarantee you that. If you do it in the prescribed way, in the prescribed manner, things go really well. Absolutely no problem. On the other hand, if you want to do dangerous experiments like going and knocking over that point and stabbing that point and voluntarily getting hit or all those things, then definitely, like any other therapy, this has a side effect. Like one dose of paracetamol for a painkiller doesn't do any harm. You take 15, 20 paracetamols, it inevitably hurts your liver. So how you apply actually matters.
Okay, thank you. Can you recommend common remedy for health issues like headache? Or would you be able to show we can do it?
Okay, let me see. Let me tell you something. This is a very common ailment, insomnia, for sleep problems. Let me show you 2-3 steps, 2-3 Varma points. Try them. Everything is a gentle touch. Don't go dig into the point. See, you have the Varma point over here. Very gently touch and very gentle stimulation. See, your hand stays over here and you vibrate the hand like this, and it gently vibrate your hand like this. Now there is a point between your eyebrows and below the eyebrow. This is a fantastic point for concentration and others. So what you can do is you can apply a very gentle pressure for a few minutes, like 2-3 minutes. Very gentle pressure you can apply here. This will help you get relieved of your tension and very bad state of mind. That is something. Then what you can do is from this point, from the same point with your thumb, what you can do is you can stroke gently and stop over here. Like 8 finger widths from here, you can stop over here. So you can stroke and stop, stroke and stop. You can lie down on your bed and you can do this. You can very gently do that. In your at the mid of your eyebrows, in the small indentation, there are two Varma points. You can very gently do inward rotations. Very gently. Everything is very gentle. You can do. But remember, now these are very general and very broad guidelines. Why are you not getting sleep, or why are you getting a headache, or why are you suffering from insomnia? There might be a plethora of reasons, huge reasons. It may be high blood pressure, it may be lack of some chemicals in the body, it may be lack of nutrition, it may be some condition of the liver, or it may be some condition of your some condition of the brain like meningitis. It could be anything of these. So we can't just say, all we have to do is do a proper consultation with a Varma therapist or a Siddha person who's very familiar with the Varma therapy, and then go from there. Now, when you go to a proper qualified Varma therapist, the therapist will give you a few Varma points you can manipulate at your own convenience at home. That you can do. So he will tell you safely, he will do the suggestions, recommendations, which you can do at home. So it is better to do Varma manipulations on the basis of the condition of the patient. Not everybody. See, for some people, this doesn't work. For some people, in 4-5 strokes, the person automatically feels drowsy and goes to sleep. So these are there. So it is on a per person basis, and it's not a general one.
Okay. Before going to the next question, I want to give an announcement. To appreciate all the participants, we'll be selecting 3 people, one from the Zoom, one from the Facebook, one from YouTube. We will be sending a gift card for like your attendance and supporting us. Okay, the next question is, can we learn it from YouTube?
Learning it from YouTube is like I told you, this is similar to a YouTube teaching. Now, what we do is I asked you to stimulate this point very gently so that you can fall asleep. That is there. Now, as I told you, they give you generalized ailments. Now, normally, without any apparent cause, if the person is not able to fall asleep, then this might work. Let us assume the person has really slept for 3-4 hours in the afternoon. Definitely, it will take time for him to fall asleep in the night. So, at those conditions, it may not work. Let us assume that the person has a disease, has an ailment, which is causing the insomnia to happen. So, you can try, those are given in the YouTube videos, but with caution. You have to see who is authentic. Now, people today are saying whatever they wanted to say in the name of Varma. I'm sorry to say. Now, why one of the reasons why I was attracted to Dr. Kannan Rajaram is we are based on the authentic scriptures. When you mention the position of a Varma point, he has a poem in Tamil, which is from the ancient palm leaf scriptures, specifying the location, what are the healing benefits, therapeutic benefits. If a Varma gets injured, what are the traumatic things and everything. That is always there. Now, ensure that the person who is teaching you or uploading that video is an authentic person. Right now, the authentic person I can suggest is my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, because, see, you know why? To the rest of the world, please don't mistake me. I've seen this for real. For the rest of the world, other than the very few who know, Varma is stimulation of Varma points. That's all. They do not know about relieving methods. They do not know about destagnation methods. They do not know about internal medicines. They do not know about chakras. They do not know about channels. None of them. For them, it is just a simulation of Varma points. That is all they actually think is happening. Okay. So when you learn it from an authentic person, we are about to start a YouTube channel soon. So we'll be giving a few tips and suggestions on common ailments like headaches and insomnia and everything. So regarding us, even those people who are there in Varma for the past 10 years, I don't wish to name anybody, they have set wrong locations for Varma points. For example, there is a Varma called as Vilanga Varmam, which is supposed to be here inside the clavicle, and they say it is over here. It's not over here. The Tamil name for Vilanga will tell you what exactly is. I mean, Vilanga is a bond in Tamil between the shoulder and the hands. That is why this is called as a Vilanga Varma. When the clavicle is broken, it is very difficult for you to move your arm. Ask a person whose clavicle is broken, he will tell you. They are saying that the Vilanga Varmam is over here. This is wrong. So like that, a lot of Varmams have been pronounced wrong by the so-called very intelligent teachers who are very famous and proficient, and they are spilling out a lot of wrong things. That is what I have to say. So unless otherwise it is from an authentic source, do not do it from YouTube, is all I say.
Okay. The follow-up question. Can you teach Varma online? Online would be effective as in person?
It won't be effective, Girija. Let me tell you why. See, I told you there is a Varma point. If you stimulate this Varma point with one particular pressure, there is an impact. There is one sort of an impact. If I give more pressure, there is another sort of impact. If I give even more pressure, there is another sort of impact. So how will you know what is the right amount of pressure? It's very difficult. And there are certain relieving methods. So you make the person sit down in a squatted position, you insert the hand, you hold him, you literally jerk the person from the ground so that the coccyx hits the ground properly to relieving. These are relieving methods. So unless otherwise, these are practically, so showing the Varma points is an easy task, is not at all a problem. Even we can send you the book, you can look at the book and you will easily understand. It's very clearly mentioned, like from the outer corner of the eye, 4 finger widths away, you can easily identify the Varma point that is there. So, but when it comes to the practical point of view, how the stimulation is done, how it is to receive a Varma treatment, only when you get it from a proper Varma therapist, you will be able. So teaching Varma would be like a half practical. It only will be 50% a success. The other 50% we will have to show it in practice. Otherwise, teaching Varma will not be an effective thing. That's what I want to say.
Okay. Can Varma can help development delays for kids?
Yeah, it can develop. It can see a kid is suffering from autism. We have treated. See, 2-3 people come to us. They are not consistent. They see some small results. They go away. They are very satisfied. Oh, my son is good. My daughter is good. They go away. So we treated autism very successfully. In 20 days, the hyperactivity of the boy reduced by 90%, more than 90%. Almost like he was calm, like any of us, all of us. So, like hyperactivity was like within a minute he will ransack the entire. That is the condition. He's like a 6-year-old kid, is a male boy, is a boy. So within 20 days we were able to bring in a result. So we can treat a number of conditions like slow learning, forgetfulness, inability to focus the mind, some problem with the brain area, there's some problem of energy circulating around the head area. You can give a lot of things. Yeah, you can treat, quite possible.
Okay. Is there any Varma points we can stimulate for more energy?
See, rather than the Varma points itself, if you follow certain regime, see, there are certain internal medicines which you'll have to take. See, let me tell you something. If there is a problem, you can address them with Varma therapy, Varma stroking, internal medicine, external medicine, that is all there. When the disease is caused by the deficiency of a vitamin, for example, vitamin D3 is required. Without providing vitamin D3, you can never cure the disease. That is always there. So, so what you do is, state your question again, Girija.
Is there any Varma points we can stimulate for more?
So okay, so you need to take some internal medicines also. Like one simple is dry ginger powder. Dry ginger powder taken in the afternoon, 1 small teaspoonful followed by warm water, will ensure that there is a uniform spread of energy throughout the system. So by itself, see, energy usually gets stagnant at one place. We usually have good energies. See, rarely, see, you should eat good nutritious food. That is always there. Foods that are great in energy. So, ashwagandha, you have heard of ashwagandha. So there are herbs like that in Varma, which is recommended by a proper physician, which you can take for better energy. Rather than Varma points, if you can add them to your nutraceuticals, like nutrition supplements, they'll help a lot.
Okay. I think the question is coming from like not about general energy. Some days we will be really busy. We have not slept well. Is there anything we can do to have more energy during that particular day or time?
See, if you learn Varma therapy, if you get those books, like there are some right now 5-6 books with us. So if you get to learn the Varma therapy, you will automatically know what is a method to heal yourself. See, these are treated symptomatically. Because of sleep, is there a headache? Then the set of Varma points are different. Because of this thing, because of your insomnia, is there an elevated blood pressure? Then there is a problem. Because of your insomnia, is there a burning sensation in your eyes? Then there are different set of Varma points. So you cannot say like one shot Varma points for an ailment. You have to find out from where it originated and how it is being caused. That is it.
Okay. How do we reduce blood pressure?
As I told you, the same method. You'll have to first learn the therapy or get it treated from a qualified therapist. The therapist will treat you. See, Girija, I would say
Mhm.
not to
I think the
ask for
question should have
specific
been,
diseases. Yeah,
can
don't
we
ask for
reduce blood
specific.
pressure using Varma?
Yes, that should be the question. We can reduce. You can show a reduction in the blood pressure within 5 to 10 minutes. You can show. Yes, that is the apt question, because if you ask for every ailment, because of the reason why it is caused, you have a range of Varma points to be treated. So if you say Varma, can blood pressure be treated? Yes. Can autism be treated? Yes. Can Parkinsonism be treated? Yes. Can rheumatic arthritis be treated? Yes. So there are a collection of ailments which can be treated. Numerous ailments. Yeah, you can.
Okay. About Varma points activated by thought. Is
Yeah.
an untrained, ordinary person also activating their Varma points unknowingly and causing healing, even if it's not initiated and trained in Varma?
Beautiful. See, this is what is called as mother's magic. Do you know, when you're very worried, you go to your mother or your father and you lie down on her lap saying that, oh, mom, this has happened, he bullied me, or this happened, I lost this and this. What your mom will do is literally do a caressing like this on your head area. She strokes your chin, she strokes your, don't worry, don't worry. She wipes your tears. So unknowingly, she is doing a Varma therapy. She is doing a Varma stroke. So you might have observed this. When you are deep thinking, your face frowns and your hand automatically comes like this. This is an involuntary reflex action by the body, by the mind, commanding the body to do like this. Touching these two Varma points will trigger a lot of clear thinking. What you do is, when you are very serious in thinking, you put your hand like this and you tend to be very seriously thinking. This is an involuntary gesture, pressurizing a particular Varma point at the top of your head so that you can think faster. So it is automatically done. When you do the wrong Varma manipulation at the wrong place, definitely you will suffer side effects. You won't know why. See, for a qualified therapist, if you come with an ailment, you'll know whether the Varma has been traumatized or not. For instance, you go, rather than touching a Varma point softly, if you go and hurt it, like, it's common for boys to punch each other in the arm. So when you go punch, actually that happened. One guy punched the other guys, and immediately the hand was swelling up. So we had to do remedial measures to do that. So it can happen. It can happen. So that is just a chance of fluke, but your subconscious mind already knows a bit of healing. So that is why it is guiding you to do all those healing things.
How it is different from acupuncture or acupressure?
Uh, I can speak about this for a whole day. Let me tell you why.
Line would be good.
No, people should be patient enough to listen to all of these things. See,
Yeah.
acupuncture is, don't get me wrong, I'm not demeaning acupuncture, but I'm telling you the effects of acupuncture. Acupuncture is like no side effects allopathy. You put you have a blood pressure, you puncture a point. There is a point called as live 3 in your feet. You puncture that point, next 2 minutes, 120 by 80. That is what you get. But has the disease really gone down? No. Only the symptom has subsided. As we told before, absence of symptom does not mean absence of disease. That is always there. So what you should do is, so acupuncture addresses this thing. Now, there is no concept of channels in acupuncture. If you are familiar with acupuncture, you will immediately frown. Oh, there is a lung channel, there is a large intestine channel. They are not channels, they are organ flows. When you want a channel, you come to Varma. A channel is a primary thing, and the channel has an external opening, like a nose or an eye or a ear has an external opening. A channel has an external opening and has an internal organ. For example, there is a channel called as Idagalai channel. Forget it for now. Forget the name for now. This Idagalai channel has the left nostril as the opening on the exterior side, has lungs as the internal organ for the internal side. Now, acupuncture has flows only for the lung. What about the channel? What about the external orifice? So does not have any organ flows. Plus, you ask this to ask this to a acupuncture practitioner. Here there is a Varma point. It's called as Li4. Now, when I poke the needle this way, there is an effect. This way, the effect is different. If I poke it straight, there is an effect. Ask the person, if you take a knife and stab it in the point, what will happen? Because the concept of trauma is not at all covered in acupuncture. Not only in acupuncture, in almost every therapy that exists, there is no trauma care. That is there. So like this, you can keep going. See, Acupuncture does not have any internal medications, but we have except for the moxibustion and a few herbs. See, they use homeopathy they dip their needles in homeopathic medicines and they put a needle. So this is called as homeoacupuncture. This is not acupuncture by itself, but Varma has its own set of medicines. And Varma points, the way you manipulate, see, as I told you, there are three methods of whether you tonify the point or whether you sedate the point or whether you neutralize the point is all you have in acupuncture. But in Varma, for a particular point, you have 53 distinct operations. So I can keep talking like this a number of times. See, please, I'm not demeaning acupuncture, but when it comes to a real cure and a profound cure, I'm not talking about the ceasing of the symptoms. I'm talking about the disease by itself getting healed. Varma is very effective. Yeah, acupuncture is a good science too. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. How do we identify the root cause instead of treating the symptoms?
This is the work of a practitioner. We are not supposed to see. You go to a practitioner. That is why there's always this thing is given. Do not Google in the internet about your health condition. You get yourself properly diagnosed. So you go to a practitioner. See, many times, even Varma therapist or a Siddha doctor might ask you to go for a blood test. I'm going to give you this medicine. I want to know whether your body is fit enough to take this medicine. So they might ask you to go for a evaluation, blood checkup. That is that. So sometimes a CT scan might be required to confirm whether the condition is same or improved or has it gone worse and anything like that. So it is not our work to diagnose. It is the duty of the practitioner to actually. It is not our job to diagnose as a patient. Yeah.
All right. He said, knowing Varma is knowing yourself. May we do self-healing once learned. I
Yes.
like the idea of centering self in spiritual practices.
Okay. So, like you're asking, what are the points for spiritual practice?
I think they are asking how they do self-healing. I mean, can they do self-healing once they learn Varma?
Yes.
Um,
Yes, you
and
can.
center themselves in spiritual practices.
Yes. See, for instance, this point, as I told you, is for concentration. It calms down your mind. So what you do is, before sitting in a meditative, I'm giving you one Varma as example. I'm giving you taking a safe Varma so that people might not misuse this. So this Varma is called as what you do is you stimulate this Varma very gently for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you go into meditation. Your spiritual practices will be deep. Now, when you learn from the Center for Varma Medicine and Research, now we have various textbooks. Text 1 covers now how to use a thread to measure and accurately locate a Varma point. This is book number 1. Book number 2 covers the traumatic aspects of Varma, how to use finger with measurements to locate the exact Varma points. That is that. Number 3 is when a Varma point is traumatized, the energy gets stagnant in that point. How to de-stagnate. Number 4 is about the energy channels that are present. So that is that. So once you cover this aspect, definitely you will be able to do self-healing, like we are all doing for ourselves. You can do, by all means. Yes.
Okay. Please let me know if Varma healing techniques can help healing joint tear or worn out condition without surgery.
Yes, my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, has treated a very severe ligament tear with internal medicines. You have to go and consult him. Varmam was used as an adjuvant here. The main thing was the internal medicine that was given, and Varmam was used as an adjuvant. Yes, you can, without surgery.
Okay. How do we always keep the state of mind happy, no matter what happens, to be in a good state?
You have to be a monk to do that. You have to be a
No,
monk to
you're
do that.
talking about man is meant to be always in bliss, right? They're asking how we can achieve that in Varma.
See, okay, they say a beautiful proverb. Every situation is ineffective without your reaction to it. Somebody comes and slaps you. There are two ways. One is you can retaliate. You can slap him back, slap the person back. Or the other thing you can do is you can consider him like a child. He's a kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. You can go on a calm attitude. So when you utilize Varma to harmonize your mind, to put your mind to ease, you will eventually come to this state of mind. It is not that you will not at all get angry. It is not at all not that you will not at all get any emotions, any negative emotions or like that. But everything will be in your control. Do you know what is called as detachment? Detachment is not owning anything. You can own a lot of things, but ensure that nothing owns you. That's very important. If you have anger, it is okay. But if anger is owning you, then there is a problem. So there are effective Varma points which can reduce the frustration of your mind, which can bring the irritation of your mind down to the earth. So this way, when you slowly find out the points that are in disharmony, you harmonize, you come back to your center, and then you feel what is called as a bliss. There has been circumstances, real life circumstances, when somebody has been slapped, literally slapped, and the person was holding the chin and was thinking, what kind of karma did I do in order to enjoy this? So that has been that's a real life story that has happened, and I've seen people like that. So you can the person is a serious Varma practitioner. That has happened. Yeah.
Okay. Where to learn Varma, here or in India?
In India, I would recommend the Center for Varma Medicine Research, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. We both handle the classes. I handle the classes in English. He handles the classes in Tamil. I also handle Tamil classes. You can come and learn there. See, why we are again and again saying our Center for Varma Medicine Institute is we have an authentic reference for everything. See, we don't think, so many people say that I was thinking in a very concentrated mind, state of mind, and I thought it will be like this. There is no thinking about this. There is no gestures. What you do is you read from the palm leaf scriptures. You provide an authenticity to whatever you are writing. Something you don't find, you don't understand. We wait until there is a clarity from further references to books, and then we write the books. So come learn from us. You're welcome to Kanyakumari. And shortly, we are planning to visit the US. So we'll be visiting a few states. So keep in touch with Girija. She'll let you know. We can let you know, and you can come and at least first three or four books we can cover in one shot. We can do that.
To answer the question, we are planning to bring Vishwa and Dr. Rajaraman in summer, maybe when the COVID is all okay. We will be conducting workshops and retreats, and they will be staying here for a while. I will keep you guys posted about that. The next question, is there any Varma treatment for I don't know, hymopia? Or I don't know how to pronounce that. Myopia.
Myopia.
Okay.
High myopia. Yeah. Yeah, you can reduce. There is a problem. You can if you are wearing reading glasses, very thick reading glasses, you can reduce the power. That is, you can restore power to the eyes. If there is a pain in the eyes, all those things. Yeah, myopia, short-sighted, long-sighted, anything can be. Yeah, it can be. Okay. I am 48 years. I'm not using any glasses till now. I'm not using any glasses. So Varma helps me. True.
Thanks, Vishwa. How long does Varma treatment for trauma to the neck and back, fractures of the spine, herniated and slip disc, spinal arthritis? That is first question. The second one is, will it treat the pain or improve the conditions or both? And how successful or success rate is Varma treatment for this?
The success rate is very high because, as I told you, a third degree ligament tear, even the second degree ligament tear, they go for a surgery in allopathy medicine. Now, this thing, specifically what it does is, fractures heal faster with the internal medicines given in Varma. Now, let us say the bone has lost its density. You can restore back it for most conditions. It has, my doctor has treated a number of rheumatic arthritis conditions very successfully. The success rate is damn good. It's too good. But see, it always depends on the condition. If the headache, for instance, is from a very simple cause, like I've not taken any food since morning, I'm hungry, so there is a headache, then I can simply mitigate the headache within the next 5 to 10 minutes. But when the headache is due to some tumor in the brain, or due to some blood clot in the brain, or due to sinusitis or very severe infection or inflammation or something like that, it takes its own time. So like I told you before, it is a per case basis. So you take a person, you consult with the Varma therapist. The Varma therapist will decide the course of action, what to do, how things are done, and that is there.
Okay. Do we need any test or reports from doctor before taking Varma treatment?
See, I have seen my doctor, my guru, Dr. Kannan Rajaram, asking people to go for a CT scan because he wanted to really ascertain what is the condition of the spine, or what is the condition of the joint inside, or what is the degree of inflammation that is inside, so that the appropriate drug can be administered to the person. So if you have prayer reports, then that should do. If not, he may ask you to, your qualified physician may ask you to go for a scan or a ultrasound or MRI scan or whatever is appropriate for the condition.
Okay. Vishwa, there are a lot of disease or health conditions people are asking whether it can be treated. I know you answered most of them, but some of the things that's we have not talked about, I want to ask you. Can it help fibromyalgia? I'm not saying it right.
Fibromyalgia. Yeah. Yes, it can treat.
Um, and can it help newborn baby and the mother?
Oh my God. Newborn babies, the way you operate is very delicate and very, sometimes you go and blow over the points. There is a point, so you blow air like that. And you can put babies to sleep. You can easily calm down their troubled tummies, and so many things could be done. It can be applied, but the degree of pressure varies. If you go and do the same degree of pressure like you're treating an adult, then you're doing a capital mistake. So like when you come to learn from us, the correct way, when the person we teach you the correct way, so that you can go treat the person who's under concern, whether it is a small kid or infant or an adult or an old man, you can treat. Yeah.
Okay. Ladies' menstrual problems.
Yes, we can treat.
Ulcer.
Pardon me?
Ulcer.
Oh, we can treat. We can.
Okay. What about autoimmune disease or lupus?
Yes. You can combine that with a few other therapies and you can treat it. Autoimmune disease, we have treated a person in Sri Lanka. I have personally treated a person in Sri Lanka. See, I'm not a qualified doctor, but so I don't give any medicines. I don't recommend any medicines. But I've asked her to consult my teacher, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. But personally, I treated her with Varma and touch therapy. The autoimmune disease has come down very. This is my teacher, which is here on the screen, Dr. Kannan Rajaram. So finally, he's here on the screen. Okay, I'm glad.
Sorry about that. You could not
very okay. I understand. There are technical issues. That is good. So, yes, you can treat autoimmune disorders. Yes, you can treat. True. In combination with other therapies, you can treat. No problem.
Okay. Why we get affected with the disease?
Karma is the only term I could muster. There is no other thing. Why you are so rich? Why you are so enjoying yourself in luxury? You have good karma. Why you are suffering from something? Why you have a bad wife, bad husband, bad children, or bad mother, father? Why? Bad karma. Why are you suffering from financial losses? Bad karma. Why are you suffering from various? I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't take drugs or anything, but I am suffering from cancer. Why? Karma is the reason for everything. See, we come in to see. If I go more into it, it will be like a spiritual lecture. I don't want to be like that. But yet, this is the real thing. Karma plays. We all come into this earth to pay off to settle certain accounts. So we are there to settle the accounts. That is that. That is the only true reason I could say. So you could say that I got hit myself. I hit myself on a staff of on a pole that was planted somewhere, and I got this ailment. But for you to get yourself hit in that pole, karma is a primary reason. So if you don't believe in karma, then there is no answer. It is like that. But karma is the only thing that substantiates everything. Why somebody is rich? See, God doesn't do a toss with a coin to say whether I should make my next creation. Is he rich or poor? Is he diseased or is he a very healthy person? He doesn't do a toss. Everything happens according to our karma. The karma is stored inside the soul, and the soul has a separate mechanism. It's an entirely different study. That's a different thing.
Okay. What about thyroid? Hyperthyroid?
We can treat. Okay.
Somebody wrote something called CP child. I don't know what.
Yeah. Cerebral palsy. Yeah, it takes a very long time. These are the very words of my teacher. It takes a very long time. Cerebral palsy is a condition, brain condition. So it takes a very long time. The patient's parents, the kid's parents must be really patient enough, following up correctly with the doctor, with the physician, and then there are possibilities of a certain degree of improvement. It is possible. Yes, I've heard him say that.
Okay. There are few conditions they listed. One is fatty liver.
Yeah, we can treat.
Yes, and we can controlling treat. Prostate enlargement.
Yes, prostate enlargement, like within a few days you will see a result. See, when there is a prostate enlargement, usually it lands you up into erectile dysfunction. Within a very few sessions, people have reported better conditions of whatever they were experiencing. Definitely, it can be treated very easily. Prostate congestion, very easily. I myself attended to a few of those cases. Yes, they can be done.
Gas problem, restriction of arm movement. They are not able to move the hand freely.
Yeah, you can do. You can do that with the help of internal medicines. You might be able to resolve it. Yes.
Okay. How to address fungal overgrowth?
Fungal overgrowth, I don't think Varma can do anything. You may have to apply some one of the internal medicines that are available to it, or some sort of emollient which is given, which is specially prepared for that particular purpose. Maybe Siddha might help, because Varma is termed under the Siddha system of medicines. Maybe there is a Siddha medicine, or there is a medicine in Varma itself. See, I'm not familiar with each and every medicine in Varma, but I can definitely say there are at least a few concoctions to be applied on such conditions. Yes, it must be there.
Okay. Um, do we have a Varma therapy center in Chennai, or where do we have the center?
Right now, the center is in Kanyakumari. Myself and Dr. Kannan Rajaram are working towards establishing a lot of centers everywhere, like in Chennai, all the major cities in India, at least for the beginning in Tamil Nadu, that is there. So soon we'll be conducting these things, but right now he's available for consultation only at Kanyakumari, and I am at Trichy, that is there. And when we come to, say, United States or wherever you are, then you will have a lot of therapists coming up, and we are always open for questions and suggestions. Like, you want me to see, you see a particular condition, you diagnose the pulse, and you tell us, sir, this is the condition, this is the condition, this is the input the client has given. What should I do? Then we can give you some recommendations that you can do this, you can do that, you can follow this sort of stroking, you can do this sort of a destagnation methods, and all. You can do that. So,
okay. Lumbar pain or instability?
yes, there is a specific spine massage available in Varma. And I'm very sure, Girija, you're also familiar with that spine massage. So what you do is you make the patient lie down, and no clothes on the back. So what they do is they manipulate some Varma points throughout the throughout the spinal column, and then they do a sort of stroking in a particular fashion. So I'm saying it simply, but it's a very strenuous work. You do a lot of stroking methods, and you can relieve. Disc bulge in a single Varma stroking, which lasted for 15 to 20 minutes. Disc bulge became normal. Single. I myself did it very recently, like 15, 20 days before. It was like that. So you can treat. Yes, you can.
I want to share one thing regarding the spinal massage. My husband Shiva, he fell a few days ago and hit in the back, the tailbone. He was having swelling and pain. By applying the oil from Kannan Rajaram sir and giving a massage, he was feeling better. He didn't even need to take any pain medication or anything. So it is very effective, and we can use it on everyday basis. The next question, what about skin inflammation?
See, if the skin inflammation is caused by the malfunction of one of the internal organs, for example, lung and the skin are connected. Acupuncture people may know that. So when it is due to the deficiency of energy flow to the lung, you can treat the lung condition, and usually the skin condition improves. Have you seen asthma patients? Usually they have a very horrible skin literally like parched and scaled, and it will be really horrible. So what happens is, if you can treat, if it is because of an external inflammation, Varma cannot do anything. But if it is due to the malfunction of an internal organ, yes, we can treat it. Possible.
Okay. What about diabetes? Can we cure diabetes in Varma?
See, there are various stages of diabetes. Now, when you have landed up into a condition called as pancreatitis, like a pancreatitis, where the pancreas gets hard like a log of wood. In those conditions, I think it is difficult, but maybe internal medicine, we can try. So you have to consult a qualified physician with your reports and everything, so that, like Dr. Kannan Rajaram, you can ask him, you can consult him over phone, you can share the reports over WhatsApp or anything, you can ask him. Yeah, we can treat. If it is not a very complicated stage, then we can treat. That's possible. Yeah.
Okay. What about hair loss and allergies? or hair fall?
Uh, Recent points Dr. Kannan Rajaram was writing, the book he was writing. He was mentioning about beautiful eyebrows, a very attractive face, and a really fabulous skin. No, I'm not using any of those. So I'm just saying, we just went through all those things. He was mentioning a lot of points. So I think there is a point for hair loss too. But if it is embedded in your DNA, then you are done for your life. Can't do anything.
Okay. Um, what about depression? There's
Oh,
not
very
one
effective.
bipolar.
Very effective in depressions. You can treat them very effectively. You can beautifully calm down the mind. You can sedate the mind. You can give real peace of mind to the person. Very beautiful. Superb. Very nice.
Okay. What about traumatic brain injury? Poor short-term memory, poor judgment, slow processing speed. Also, does it help with hair loss from PCOS? I don't know
Okay, I understand.
what.
Polycystic ovarian issue syndrome. See, you must know something. When see, I told this example a few minutes back. There is a health condition, so you treat it with internal medicines. You apply external oils and herbal paste. You apply Varma therapy. This is all there. But if the ailment is caused due to the deficiency of a vitamin, let us say vitamin D, unless otherwise you give vitamin D literally, the disease will not cure. Okay. Now, when you asked about the skin condition, I mentioned something else too. When the skin condition is because of the malfunction of an internal organ, because you are not detoxing properly or all those things, then we can treat it through Varma. But when there is a physical damage, then there is a serious issue. Now, when the brain has brain trauma has happened, when the brain has been physically injured and physically affected, there is nothing you can do. If there is an alteration of the energies going to the brain, for example, brain there is a huge congestion, or let us assume that there is a thrombosis inside the brain, then we can apply oils, we can do Varma therapy, we can do stroking procedures, we can relieve that. But when there is a physical injury, it is very difficult, especially in some part like the brain. If the hand is broken, then Varma covers about hand is broken, your arm is dislocated, your knees are fractured, your leg is fractured. Yes, you can. Varma covers all those things. We can do that. I've heard Dr. Kannan Rajaram treating a number of patients with that therapy. So it's quite possible. Can do.
Okay.
But if there is a physical injury, which is a permanent damage, then nothing can be done. Please no. Please be known.
Okay. I think it's a really very informative session. I think we answered all the questions. I just want to say vote of thanks and conclude the webinar.
Sure, Gita.
Um, First of all, I want to say thanks to my husband Shiva. He's been encouraging me, supporting me, and believing in me. um, that was really nice. Without his help, I won't be able to do anything. Then I like to say thanks to Dr. Shivaraman. He's the one who helped me to learn Varma and touch healing from Dr. Kannan Rajaram and Vishwanath. Otherwise, I won't be knowing about all these techniques and organizing these workshops. I want to say my thanks to Dr. Kannan Rajaram because he took his time to teach me one on one and help me learn all these Varma techniques. Thanks for believing in me, sir. I like to say thanks to Vishwa for teaching me touch healing and Varma and constantly helping me, answering all my questions and supporting me, encouraging me to do all these things. And thanks for taking time for doing this webinar and all the other things you are helping.
Very
Thanks, Vishwa.
welcome, Girija. It is an honor to be with all of your audiences. It is a real blessing to share about this fabulous divine therapy to everyone possible. Hope it has been at least a little bit useful to all of you. You are very welcome to ask questions. You have my WhatsApp number. You can ping me. You can ask me on WhatsApp. We can go about that. It's no problem.
Yeah. I also want to thank Tamarica for telecasting this webinar live and helping us promoting the event so the message can be reached to so many people. Thanks, Magesh, for all your tips and suggestions how to organize this event successfully. I also want to extend my thanks to Greater Milwaukee Tamil and Ashok and Sai for helping me this event and promoting it. And I also want to say thanks to my team, Kripakaran and Raghu and Pavan, they were the really great help in putting me together the website and the Facebook and all these videos. And without their help, I won't be able to do all these things. Um, and I also want to thank my friends Archana, Bala, and Sunita for helping me, supporting in me, believing in me. Not but not least, we can do any number of events, but without the audience support, we won't be able to make a difference. Thanks for believing in this event and attending the event. And I want everyone to be happy and feel better by whatever the healing technique that works for you, whether it is Varma or touch healing or Siddha. I want to bring awareness to those healing techniques because those are really nice, and we can be like Vishwa is saying, we can be in bliss using all those healing techniques. Um, Hopefully soon we can organize the in-person retreats. We are also have like a lot of other webinars organized for touch healing and as well as in Varma and touch healing in Tamil also. Please check out, and if you are interested in learning more, please reach out to Vishwa or Dr. Kannan Rajaram or me. And if you want to learn more about different healing techniques, please let us know. We will try to organize those things for you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.